Hello everyone, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld, and last week we saw some dramatic bullish moves on tech, huge pops to the upside. A lot of these markets coming into overhead supply, which may create some opportunities, led by the Magnificent Seven. Your Apples, Googles, Facebook, Microsoft, Nvidia, you had Tesla, all just surging greatly last week. Now the question is, will that continue? We've got debt ceiling resolution, so that's kind of off the table. Feels like a breath of fresh air. Take a deep breath, things are looking good. Well, it is actually probably pretty good, but we do have some quiet going on in the U.S. markets, and now it's time for the U.S. to digest what the rest of the world is doing. Now that said, I'm going to dive into your economic calendar here and your earnings calendar. Let's start with earnings for June 5th. Really on June 5th, which is Monday, you've got nothing happening. There's 368 companies reporting. It all starts really on Tuesday with J.M. Smuckers, Sienna and Casey's General Store. Wednesday brings you GameStop, Campbell Soup, and BYD Motors. This is one of those EV companies out of China, which a lot of people are very bullish on. Thursday, you've got DocuSign, and finally, rounding out the week, we have NIO, another EV company. So you got a twofer with regards to electric vehicles. Again, they've been in the spotlight because of Tesla's surge. Of course, some of them are doing good. Others are not doing so well, which may present some opportunities for you guys going forward. All right, let's look at some other pieces. Obviously, June 14th is the big day for the U.S. markets, where we will all be focusing on Jerome Powell. What does the FOMC say about the rate hikes? A lot of people, including myself, are anticipating that rates will get paused at the June 14th meeting, meaning not going to raise anymore. Of course, there is still a probability, as of this recording, is right around a 19 to 20% chance they're going to raise 25 basis points, but I think Friday's jobs data might have quelled that fire there. So we'll focus on the U.S. in a couple weeks, but this week we have some foreign central banks, which I think are worth noting. And again, for those of you who are Forex traders, you might want to pay attention to some of these ones. There's only two of them coming out, but it may cause big swings in your FX pairs. The first one's the Reserve Bank of Australia. Now, 3.85 is what they're currently at. Expectations are they're going to stop raising and stay at 3.85%. We will know the results of that on Tuesday at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, if you're an Australian dollar trader, it's been kind of weak lately. You haven't seen the greatest upswings. It's gone from about 0.71 all the way down to 0.65. So we're seeing weakness in the Aussie dollar. Maybe this will prop it up a little bit. The next currency brings us to the Northern Hemisphere, North America to be precise. The Bank of Canada will be making their rate announcement. They're expected to stay at 4.5% as well. So we have two major central banks ceasing to raise at this current announcement. At least the expectations are that they're going to pause. We will see what the actual numbers are when they make their announcements. Now, the Bank of Canada is happening Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, so that will be 30 minutes into the trading session. And last but not least, it's about international growth. We talked about U.S. growth, and we look at GDP quite regularly, but there's no U.S. GDP this week. It's been slowly dropping. But what are the other economies feeling with regard to their gross domestic product? And that's where we go to for our next topic, which is international growth, specifically GDP. Now we start things off with Australia. They will be reporting their numbers Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Next on that list, you have Japan, which will be coming out with their numbers Wednesday at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time. And finally, rounding it out, you have the European Union with their GDP numbers on Thursday at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. So none of these are actually during regular market hours. They're all outside of regular market hours. But I know that we have a lot of currency traders that watch this program, and I figure we might talk a little bit about some of the global impacts that might be impacting the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Japanese yen, the euro. All of these might be impacted because of their rate announcements from central banks, as well as some of the GDP data. So a lot of potential movement happening for international markets. And for the U.S., we still have things like crude oil inventories and natural gas storage and unemployment claims, but no real A-list reports happening this week. So I decided let's focus on the international markets. That, my friends, is your Monday Morning Must Knows. We'll see you next week.